Hey there, this is Motion Flow. Now I will show you how to make the 3 most popular reusable transitions in Davinci Resolve and get the result like this.
I pull up you deep on my niggas, consider it's pivotal. Trap through the app, make her clap it, don't cap it, she tapping it fast. I think that you know they be catching it. Standing 6 feet up, casting a
Alright, let's first create a simple zoom transition. So find Cross Dissolve Transition on the Toolbox tab and apply it between 2 footage on the timeline. Right-click on the transition and then convert it to the Fusion. Then right-click on the transition again and click Open in the Fusion page. And here, we will create all transitions today. First, let's ungroup the Cross Dissolve node. Then select it and go to the Modifiers tab. As you can see, our transition is now very smooth. We definitely need to fix that. Let's change the curve type from linear to custom and change the graph so that the transition between the 2 footage is just 1 frame. As you can see, our transition doesn't look so smooth now. That is exactly what we want. Select Media 1, then press Shift plus Spacebar and find Transform node. Go to the Inspector tab and right-click on Size parameter. Select Modify with Anim Curve and switch to Modifier tab. As you can see, we already have zoom animation. Now, let's make a few changes. First, switch curve type to easing and set expo for in and out. Set offset parameter for 1 and scale for 2. Great job, we're almost there. Now, we need to repeat almost the same steps for the second part of the transition. Select Media 2 and add Transform node again. Add Anim Curve to scale and switch to the Modifiers tab. Our transition is almost ready. Let's make a few final changes. Set offset to -1 and scale to 2. Change curve type to easing and set in and out to expo. Now let's add a bit motion blur. Go to the Settings tab and turn on motion blur. Increase quality to 8. Then go back to the Controls tab and change edges type to mirror. As you can see, now the edges of the second part of the footage are extended and mirrored. Let's also add motion blur to the first footage. All right, we made our zoom transition. I will show you how to make a macro file at the end of the video. Now let's move on to the next transition. Now let's create a roll transition. Find and apply Cross Dissolve between your footage. Then convert it to the Fusion Cross Dissolve and go to Fusion as we did in the last transition. Ungroup Cross Dissolve node. Now we need to make the transition less smooth. To do this, select the Dissolve node and go to the Modifiers tab. Change curve type from linear to custom, then move the points closer to the center. Now it looks much better. Next step, we need to apply Transform node. Change edges type to mirror. Then right-click to the center and select Modify with Vector Result. Switch to the Modifiers tab and change the angle to 180. Now right-click on Distance, select Modify with Anim Curves. As you can see, we have already created a roll animation. Now let's make a few changes. First of all, change the curve type to custom and change the speed graph to a smoother one. Then increase scale to 6. Well, our transition is almost ready. We just need to add a little motion blur. To do this, find and apply Directional Blur. Change blur angle to -180. And modify blur strength with Anim Curves. Switch to the Modifiers tab and change curve type to custom. Adjust speed graph a little bit. Then activate the mirror checkbox. Set scale to 0.8. And that's it. Simple roll transition is done. Let's jump up to the next transition. All right, let's drag and drop cross-dissolve between our footage again. And then convert it to the Fusion, and go to the Fusion page. Well, here we go again. Let's ungroup cross-dissolve node. Then apply transform node for Media 1. Go to the inspector panel and change edges type from canvas to mirror. Right-click on angle and then modify it with anim curves. Switch to the modifiers tab and change curve type to custom. Adjust speed graph to make animation more smooth. Just like that. Oops, we almost forgot to change the graph for the cross-dissolve node. Let's fix this. Select it and then change curve type to custom. Move points closer to the center. Then select transform node and set scale to -360 in the modifiers tab. Now select Media 2 and apply transform node to it. Change edges type from canvas to mirror. And then modify angle parameter with anim curves. Switch to the modifiers tab and then change curve type to custom. Adjust speed graph the same as in first transform node. Set the scale parameter to -360. All right, now it looks great. Let's add a bit motion blur. Select first transform node and switch to the settings tab. Activate motion blur and increase quality to 7. Then do the same steps with second transform node. And it's done. Simple spin transition is also ready. And now, as I promised, I will show you how to create a macros file in order to apply our transition in the future very quickly and easily. Select all nodes except Media Out and then right-click on one of them. Go to the macro, Create Macro. This panel contains all our settings. In this video, we won't add any of them, so we'll just rename the file and save it anywhere. Now go to the Effects tab and open Templates folder. Right-click on the transitions and then Show Folder. Copy and paste out macro file in this folder. Now go to the Edit page. Go to the toolbox and then select Video Transitions. Start typing the name of your macro file. If your macro file is not found, try rerunning Davinci Resolve. Now you can easily apply the transition. You can also control the speed of your transition by simply stretching or shrinking the layer. Out transition works with any resolution in FPS. By applying a transition, it will automatically take over your composition settings. All right, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Hit like button and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Another milestone, look at that.